Hey you guys, Sean Guinan here, acupuncturist and creator of Rewilding Medicine. Welcome back. Today I'm going to talk to you about my 5 tips of traditional Chinese medicine to keep you healthy this autumn. See, one of the coolest things about traditional Chinese medicine is that we have a lot of lifestyle and behavioral modifications that you can make to make sure that you stay healthy and strong, essentially so that you can live a life that is long and also live well during that period of time, okay? So as we transition into autumn, we really want to be paying attention to how we're using our body, to what we're putting in our body, to what we're wearing, and all the rest of it, okay? So my number 1 tip to start with is to wear a scarf or fluff up your collar this time of year. If you have a friend who's an acupuncturist or you go to see an acupuncturist, you'll notice that this time of year, as we tip into fall time, as it gets a little colder, we will generally make sure that we cover this particular area of our bodies, okay? That area, which is the neck and the upper back, together as a complex, we call the wind gate. And that area is an area that can be particularly vulnerable this time of year, where wind literally moves in, carries with it pathogens, and that enters right back through here. And therefore, we say that we catch a cold, okay? So what we don't want to do is to catch a cold. We don't want to get the flu. We don't want to get sick, all right? And one of the easiest ways to do that is make sure that you are keeping this area back here nice and covered, nice and secure, kind of put it on lockdown, okay? Number 2 is that as it turns cold this time of year, we want to make sure that our digestive fire is nice and stoked, okay? That we're keeping our bellies nice and warm. And one of the best ways to do that is to put the salads away, put the raw foods away in the smoothies, and instead go ahead and bring in some soups, some stews, and kanjis as well. If you don't know what a kanji is, or juk is also what it's known as, don't worry, we'll get into that in another video. But know that nonetheless, we want some nice warming foods. That also goes for warming spices as well, okay? Things like cinnamon, nutmeg, coriander, cumin, all of those are awesome to really keep that heat inside of us going to combat that cold that's trying to get in, all right? So that was number 2. Number 3 is to really get acquainted with some herbs and some plant-based medicine that can help amplify and fluff up your immune system. In traditional Chinese medicine, we equate the immune system with something called Wei Qi, or defensive or protective Qi. It's what rises up to the surface and tries to keep that wind, cold, heat, damp, or whatever from getting into our bodies, all right? But we can support that with plants, which is super duper cool. My 3 favorite plants, at least right now, this time of year, happen to be astragalus, echinacea, and then cordyceps. Yes, cordyceps is actually a fungus, it's not a plant, but nonetheless you get the idea, right? Now, plant medicine itself is a huge, massive topic. We'll get into that later and we'll take pieces of that on over time, okay? But right now, I just want you to put your thinking cap on around how you can develop a relationship with plants that can help you amplify that immune system or that Wei Qi and keep you from getting sick, all right? Number 4. So this is the season of autumn, as I mentioned, of course, which is also then the season of the lung and large intestine. Every season in traditional Chinese medicine has an organ association. If we look at least just the lungs, what we want to ask then is how can we strengthen the lung organ system this time of year? Well, one of the best ways, of course, is to deeply breathe. So number 4 on the list is really to enhance that kind of deep diaphragmatic or belly breathing. I don't know how many times I have to talk to people about just that shallow breath and also just kind of chest breathing. We want to make sure that we're getting into the belly of it, okay? That we're sending that air way deep down and that we're sending it back out efficiently as well. One of the simplest and best ways to do this is with a 4-part breath, okay? It's one of my favorites. So we break the breath down into a breath cycle that consists of an inhale, a pause, an exhale, and another pause, okay? That together is one breath cycle. What we want to do is slow our breathing down and deepen it enough to allow that one cycle to last about 15 seconds. So therefore, we can put 4 breaths within the time span of 1 minute. 4 breaths a minute. Okay? If you do that type of breathing for just even 5 to 10 minutes a day, have a moment where you pause, you do that mindfully, you'll be amazed at how much better you feel, how much more energy you have, and also it'll again strengthen those lungs, which will help protect us from getting sick. Number 5 on the list here as well of the traditional Chinese medicine tips to keep you healthy this autumn is to go ahead and eat some moistening foods as well. So it's another dietary tip, okay? What I mean by this is that in this time of year, the nature is that comes in is dryness, okay? I know that seems weird because I'm in the Pacific Northwest and it's really wet right now, but the idea is people get dry coughs, dry skin, dry throat as well, okay? And you may be prone to this or are used to feeling this as it transitions into this season. Now, we can combat that by having some more moistening, or what we call yin nourishing foods, or body fluid nourishing foods, okay? One of my favorite examples of this is the Asian pear, right? There's a reason why Asian pears are in abundance this time of year, and we can maximize on that abundance that nature provides by just simply paying attention to that, okay? So what we'll do is you can harvest some Asian pears. Maybe you go to the market and you go ahead and you collect some. You can just eat them straight up. That crispness is really quite nice and moistening for our throats, but also you could consider making a pear sauce, kind of similar to an apple sauce. If you want to bring it up another kind of level, maybe you add some of those warming herbs or spices that we talked about earlier in there too, like pear sauce, Asian pear sauce that is, with a little bit of cinnamon or a little bit of nutmeg in it is just awesome, okay? And again, really great for moistening that lung system, which in Chinese medicine is the lungs themselves, also the throat, the voice, the nose, the sinuses, all of it, okay? We want to keep that nice and moist this time of year. All right, well, those are my top 5 tips of traditional Chinese medicine to keep you healthy this autumn. I do hope that they are helpful. Let me know if any questions at all about them. You can put it in the comments below, of course. I would also ask you, if you don't mind and you're super interested in hearing from me more, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel here as well. That lets you get notifications of when we put out new content, which I'm trying to do as regularly as possible, okay? But I also want to make it relevant for you. So go ahead and shoot me an email and let me know too what you want to hear more about. That email is hello@rewildingmedicine.com. Again, hello@rewildingmedicine.com. Once more, my name is Sean Guinan, acupuncturist and creator of Rewilding Medicine. Super stoked you're here, and I hope to hear from you soon, okay? Until then, we'll go ahead and we'll see you next time.